Hi guys, welcome back to Libris Custom Knives. This is part 11 of building our heat treatment oven, and today we have to do some repairs and modifications to our oven to make sure that the issues we saw the last time don't happen again. So let's get started. So the first job we have today is of course going to be to disassemble the whole oven. We'll take the door off, we'll disconnect everything, we'll take the lid off, we'll hoover away any vermiculite, and then we'll be able to lift off the top bricks to gain access to the heating elements inside. Okay, that's why it's so useful to have the door removable. There we go, and now we can actually start taking everything apart. This rope has survived surprisingly well, considering how much heat it's been exposed to. So let's have a little inspection inside. Okay, as you can see, the heating elements have jumped out of their grooves. Like I said, we were able to see this in a previous video, while the oven was still hot. Okay, and from what I'm seeing is that, for example, this heating element over here is touching the bottom of itself there and there. So what's happened, and I think this, and this heating element right there, of course, is touching itself on the lower row as well, okay? Just like that. And so what must have happened whilst the oven was hot is that these heating elements, if you imagine the current coming in, as it reaches this joint over here, the current doesn't travel all the way around. It actually jumps right here and continues on, and then jumps right here and continues on. So really, this side of the oven was severely overpowered, and not the whole length of the heating elements were actually working. That would explain the power jumps we had, these power spikes. If you looked at the graph, you would have been able to see them. On the other side, it looks like the same happened, but only over there. Okay, only over there. It is rather obvious that my heating elements need to be shortened by a significant amount. It does throw my calculations a little off, but it has to be done because at the moment they're simply too long and they don't fit in their grooves properly. Because we've left the oven cool slowly, okay, I closed the door and left it on sauna overnight. This wire annealed itself, and as such it is really soft and it's easy to work with now. When I first got these elements, the wire was pretty hard and was really difficult to do anything with it. So let me do some maths and I'll get back to you. So what I've decided is that my oven is going to be 2.8 in the very end kilowatts of power. I had my maths over there to help me reference everything, and I should still be under the 13 amp limit that I have on my sockets. Which means, after doing all the maths, that one element needs to be 10.5 ohms in resistance. So, which is exactly what I have over there. As you can see, I've stretched it out in that point, which is a 10.5, sorry. And I'm just going to cut it off. And there we go. No going back now. Okay, we've cut our elements, and hopefully they will give us the power we require. So there we are. I've managed to pin the elements back in place, and hopefully they will be surviving much longer and they won't droop down at all. Some of the staples seem to be wanting to fall out, so I'm just going to have to make sure I repair those. Okay, there we go. I filled it up with vermiculite and sealed everything back up. You've seen it once already, so there's no reason for you to watch it again. Let's have a look at the actual door this time. Okay, as you can see, the glass fiber rope didn't really survive all that well. It has melted, so let me just try to cut out the melted bits. There we go. It used to be glass fiber, and now it's just glass. Okay, which is rather interesting. I do feel that the rope that has melted was actually directly exposed to the heat, and this over there, well, it is still good, is the one that was pressed against the bricks. What I'm going to be doing is I'll be attaching the rope not to the door itself, but to the front of the oven. That way I will make sure I don't expose the rope to the heat itself, not directly at least, but it will still be able to provide a seal against heat escaping. Okay, what I found is I found some small wood screws that I have that I don't use for anything else, and I will use them. Hopefully the thread will make it a bit more difficult for it to pull itself out. This is probably the first and will hopefully the last time when I'm hammering screws in. But they seem to be working. It seems to be working perfectly fine because the thread keeps it from coming out again. So our oven is pretty much done. Gonna have a little break, and afterwards we're probably gonna give it another test run. Okay, well, there we are, all ready for our second test run. Everything, the control box is powered up already. As you see, there's 17 degrees inside the chamber. The skin temperature is also flickering between 17 and 18. The test is going to be exactly the same. We'll be running it up to 1100 and seeing how long it takes. This time I'll actually be measuring everything post-production, so I'm not going to have to bother with any laptops or anything else. Once again, just like last time, we have fire extinguishers ready to go, just in case something happens. And, well, we are going to see how well it manages. Okay, so let's get it ready to go, and off we go. Afterwards, of course, we will also be comparing the two graphs together, seeing how, in comparison, how everything performed. It's pretty darn quick. It's 2:30 already. So there we go, guys. Our oven is at 1100 degrees centigrade. We've been on and off cycling a couple of times. You might have been able to see that the temperature fluctuation is quite large, but at the same time, this is partly because the Autotune hasn't been run yet, so the PID computer doesn't really know when and for how long to switch off the elements in order to keep the temperature. Okay. After we run the Autotune, which we're probably going to be doing tomorrow, is the temperature, oven should be a lot more accurate than what it is now. So let's do a courtesy shot of how the inside is looking. I've got my safety glasses on. I'll knock the oven off. There we are. Okay. Let's take you. There we are. The handle is perfectly cold. Over here, I seem to be leaking heat from the front towards the back, as the back is pretty, well, just warm. Okay, the back is just warm, but the front is really hot. So let's open it up. Have a look. There she is. Lovely orange, bright orange heat inside. It looks brighter for you guys than it is in reality. Okay, the heating elements are in much better shape. They're not bulging down. They're not drooping down. They didn't jump out of their grooves, and we are very happy with this. Also, the glass fiber rope seems to have survived a lot better this time as well. So, close it back up. Right, and we can see that we've lost about, 200 degrees of temperature just by opening the door. So that's pretty much it. I'll be compiling the data that I got from this experiment onto Excel and drawing another graph and just seeing how the two compare. So there we are. The next day we've analyzed all the data, and as it turns out, our oven is much faster now, which was actually expected, knowing that it's quite a bit more powerful now. As you can probably see in front of you now, the blue graph is the new oven and the red graph is the old one. As you can see, the new oven, okay, so the new power on the oven made it reach temperature much faster. Also, the power band is a lot smoother, and as such, there is no spikes in power or anything else. At the moment, when you're watching this, is actually the next morning after our test fire you saw just a minute ago, and I'm just inspecting the oven, and it is perfectly fine inside. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay, nothing jumped out. And the next thing that we're gonna have to be doing is an auto-tune. Okay, the way this is gonna work is that I'm going to be auto-tuning at 3 different temperatures. I'll be doing it at 300, 500 and 800 degrees centigrade. What I'm hoping is that that will give me a good accuracy across the range of the oven as a whole. So first I'm setting on the 300 degree setting on my PID over here, and then I'm going to run the auto-tune to that temperature. There we go. Oops. Go auto-tune on, and let's power it on. There we go, the auto-tune by the looks of it has finished. So it has learned the PID values, so let's bring this up to 500. Well, there we go. It's approaching 800 degrees, and we'll see what it will do. 799, 800, and it switches itself off. Back on. Interesting. Well, there we go. Our oven has finished its auto tunes, and now it's just cooling down. So hopefully now it's going to be pretty accurate when it comes to maintaining temperature. And that pretty much marks the end of this series, I suppose. It's been much longer than I thought. We did have a couple of problems along the way, all of which you saw. I did try to show exactly how and why and where I'm doing various things. Hopefully it made it a little bit clear if you want to build your own oven as well. This was the first time I've been doing this myself, and everything was pretty much learn as you go along. And well, in some cases it worked, in some other cases it didn't. It just depends, really. So that's pretty much it, guys. Okay, thank you ever so much for watching. Thank you very much for liking and sharing my videos as well. If you do want to see updates as they come, subscribe to my channel, as well as like my page on Facebook. The links are in the description. Thank you very much for watching. Once again, have a lovely day and take care.